Planned Brotherhood is not affiliated or associated with Planned Parenthood. Like you didn't fucking know that. Planned Parenthood is the registered trademark of Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Thank you.
It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time. It must have been, it must have been, it must have been a happy time. The sun would shine, the candy bars, Kool-Aid flowing like wine, the comic books, the TV shows, the bubble gum, the kitty cat.
Yeah, I consider posting a mini episode like, hey, we haven't quit. But how dispiriting would that have been? Like to see a 2-minute episode and without you? A charmless episode, I'd say.
I haven't even turned on my iPod in longer than we've done an episode.
What if I had been posting episodes with like a series of guest hosts?
I wouldn't know.
Would you care?
Yeah.
Maybe you should go back.
I guess.
I won't name names, but that has been suggested to me. Well, why don't you just bring somebody else in? I was like, first of all, that makes the title irrelevant.
We can record, though.
I know we can.
We just
Do
don't.
we want to get right into this?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, what's it been? Like a month and a half since we've recorded or posted an episode anyway.
Uh-huh.
And I'd say at least 2 times a week out of that, 6 weeks?
Uh-huh.
We make plans like, yeah, I have time to do it tonight because we bought all the Skype equipment, which those who are still with us remember from our last episode, that was our big discussion. I should say that we're not recording by Skype right now.
No.
But I'm kind of freaked out by the whole notion. Like I spent the $40 on the headphones. I downloaded Skype. I don't know how it works, and I'm too afraid to ask you. And then, like, it comes to a point where you're like, let's record tonight. People are feeding for it. Have you seen the fan page? And I'm like, yes, I have. I still keep a close eye on that just to make sure people haven't bailed. Our numbers have strangely been going up on the fan page.
Really?
Anyway, yeah, then it comes time. I'm like, yeah, I'll be home at 6. I'll send you a text or vice versa. And then it just doesn't happen. We'll still communicate with each other to discuss Breaking Bad.
Uh-huh.
So what is it for you? Because I know it goes both ways. It's
Nothing.
not just me here.
No, I'm always ready to. I'm always ready and willing to.
I don't know. When I got here this weekend, first time seeing in a while, your headphones were still encased in the plastic.
Well, yeah, but that's just because we've never gotten together to do it.
I guess I like to imagine that when we did set a time, you were waiting with your headphones.
Well, I knew better, I guess, after the first couple of times. And then
know.
It was like, you were working 12 to 8, and then you wouldn't be home till, like, midnight or something.
I will say that played a part, too.
Yeah.
Because, I can't go straight home. I have beer obligations with a friend.
Yeah.
And then so it's like 10, and then I know that, depending on the night, something good's on TV, or you don't get to see your daughter that often. You've started school again.
Yeah.
But I think we can make a go of it. You have Tuesdays off?
I have Mondays and Tuesdays off.
We'll do it.
All right.
But
I've been saying that for 6 weeks.
No. So I want to give a shout out to those supporters that I didn't know existed until we stopped posting.
I still don't know they exist.
They could not, for all I know.
I don't go to the fan page.
I don't have the internet pulled up, but I was so moved by many of these passages that I can start with Gabrielle Santos, because she's one of 3 female listeners I think we have, out of Brooklyn of all places. Speaking of that, Mike Dick has been calling us pussies on our page. I appreciate that, keeping us motivated. There are a series of Bryans. Go Dennis, Rawson, Hines. It's cool that I'm giving last names, right?
Sure.
Douglas Wilson compares this
I'm
to
sure
Christ
it's okay.
coming back to him.
I don't know if it's cool, but it's all right.
Douglas Wilson's going to be sad that you just stomped over his shout-out.
Who's Douglas Wilson?
I don't know. He's the one that posted on our page something about it's like waiting for Christ to come back.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Who else we got? Sofal, I am. Sure. Lance Romanoff. Man, I really should have pulled it. Anyway, thank you, everybody. It's really, really sweet. And that did mean something to me. Some heartfelt messages. Yeah. So we're back.
Yep. See you next week, I guess.
What if that was it?
It'd be better than nothing, I guess. Some people would love it.
Yeah. Let's just move right along from there. No?
What's been going on, buddy? Oh, I unplugged my headphones.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What's been going on? I'm now working 9 to 5. What a way to make a live.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah, that just started about a week ago. That's been interesting. I love getting off at 5. Fucking hate getting up to get to work at 9.
Yeah, well, I'm getting up for school and to take Sophie to school at 7 every day, but I'm still working till about 2 a.m. every night, so
Yeah,
it's pretty rough.
All right, make me feel like a pansy, why don't you? Let's move into Sophie's school. How's that going? I think you mentioned before that it's a Christian preschool.
It's a Christian preschool.
So she counting rosaries.
So I wore
Go to pick her up.
I wore this shirt during the orientation.
Can we get a brief description?
It's got 2 thumbs pointing up at me, and it says "Jesus loves this guy." It's the most comfortable shirt I've ever owned.
I feel that way about this Rock Band shirt that you got me.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why this is going so smoothly. We're both very comfortable. Right?
I'm super comfortable. And a girl at work who really loves Jesus was like, "I like your shirt, unless you're making fun of Jesus."
Well, clearly you are.
And I was like, "Well, I'm not really making fun of him, but I am wearing it ironically."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I hate it now. I don't like your shirt anymore."
If anything, it's more making fun of yourself.
When we were walking through a store with Nick Stamper, were you there? You must have been if Nick Stamper was with us. But some lady just points at my shirt and she's like, "Amen, hallelujah."
People at Walmart.
I was like,
we were at
"Oh
Walmart,
my
weren't
God." Yeah, we were.
we? Yeah, a lot of Christians come through there, I'm sure.
Yeah, but Sophie's school is fine. I don't think they do any prayers or anything.
How are you to know, though?
And she comes home singing songs, and none of them have to do with Jesus yet. So, I don't know.
I don't know either.
There are books in her classroom that's like Jesus Loves You, and there's one book. It's not in her classroom; it's more of in a common area, and it's called "Where Did Grandma Go When She Died?" And I opened it up, and it was all about heaven and God.
It'd be funny if it wasn't.
Being good.
It's all about the common grave.
It's all about worm food. The circle of life.
Well, if she seems to be enjoying it, she seems like a social kid. She must get that from her mom.
I guess, man, because she has no fear about going to school. She loves it. And the kid who she spends all of her time with otherwise, since she was a friend of mine, his girlfriend is Sophie's babysitter, and they have a son who's 6 months older than Sophie.
Jonathan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember his awesome SWAT outfit last Halloween.
And he goes to the same preschool. He's in the class above her. And every morning, bawling his eyes out, having to go in there. So scared.
Really?
Doesn't want to leave his parents. And then as of last week, quit going. They don't make him go anymore.
No way.
Yep.
That's some power that kid wields.
Yep.
That's crazy. Do you remember your first day of kindergarten?
I remember my first day of kindergarten.
Did you cry?
Yep.
Me too.
Quite a bit. I remember standing outside of the classroom and seeing a girl, and I remember the girl. I went all through elementary school to school with her. Her name was Tara, and just seeing her and realizing that like a pretty girl was going to be in my classroom.
Really, you have those types of anxieties at 6 years old.
Yeah, I was bawling my eyes out. I was so scared. I didn't want to go. I always hated school. I still get so nervous. You know, when I started fall quarter last week, I was so nervous going in. And same thing, too. Like, every hot girl I see approaching the classroom, I'm like, fuck, I hope she's not in this class with me. I hope she's not in art with me, and I'm going to sit so far away. And it kind of sucks now because Sophie starts school at 9, and my first class is at 9:30. And
So you don't have time to chain smoke and
right.
pace the building 8 times?
Her school is like more than 30 blocks away from my school, and classes get out at 20 after every hour and then start again 10 minutes later. So like I like to be at the school by 9:20, so I'm like the first guy in and I can sit wherever I want. But of course the first day I didn't get there until like 9:27. Class starts at 9:30. It's the first day of the quarter, so it's like packed. And literally the only place I can sit is front row center of like these long cafeteria type tables.
Did you say what class this was? I'm
It's
sorry.
for art appreciation.
Okay.
And we're going over the syllabus and stuff. So he's just projecting everything onto a screen, and Big Head PJ, Big Ears PJ is sitting right in front of it. And it's not like it's stadium movie theater style seats at all. So like I was just so uncomfortable that everyone was just staring at my head in my ears and wishing I would move, and I'm just crouching down lower and lower in my seat.
See, if you were confident, you could have been the shadow puppet funny guy from day one.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not that guy. Dude, there's always people like that in those classes, though. Like, in my biology class, there's people who just speak up, and they're so annoying. This one kid has like the worst skin. He's got so many zits on his face, but he's always wearing like pieces of rag, like tie-dyed rag that he'll like just cut a strip off and wear it like as a bandana. And he's like Mr. Cool, Mr. Funny guy, and like I don't know. The first day
That's
of class,
how he views himself, or he's
Yeah.
actually popular.
No, he wants to be.
Okay.
And the first day of class, he said something to the teacher in my biology class about like her not having a no cell phone policy on the syllabus, and he's like, and I think we should start a round of applause for you, Mrs. Carpenter, and starts like doing the slow clap, and everyone's just staring at him like, what the fuck? But the most annoying thing about this kid is that every lecture he acts like she's talking directly to him. So throughout a whole hour-long lecture, the whole time he's going, oh, cool, cool, oh, wow. What do you think about, what do you think, does that involve, and she's so annoyed by him, you can tell. But yeah, the whole time, he's just sitting there for an hour, oh, cool, yeah, wow.
I hate this
Like,
guy.
it's a one-on-one thing. It's so annoying. And everyone that sits at my table, like, I've already developed my side of the classroom to, like, the sarcastic, bitter fuck side of the room. We just all stare at each other and shake our heads every time he says anything. And I do know this one girl that's in the group, and, like, she'll look at me, and I'll go, like,
You played Secret Hangman.
Yeah, exactly.
Answers, this kid's a faggot.
Well, you know, she doesn't have a no cell phone policy in her class, so I just tweet the whole time.
That seems
That's not true.
strange. I mean, I guess maybe in college it's like, you know, kids are a little more liberal-minded. The teachers can't be as bold. Is
What
that
do you
it?
mean?
I mean, in high school, there's probably very strict no cell phone policies.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty strict there. She made the comment when he mentioned it. She was just like, I don't know. I've never had a problem with anyone texting in class, but, you know, please don't. But no, there are teachers that I've had who, like my English 102 teacher, he was like, if your cell phone rings during class, just stand up and leave so I don't have to tell you to leave, and don't come back until tomorrow, and your phone better not ever go off again.
Wow.
Or you'll be dropped from my class. And then to illustrate his point, he showed us, I think it was Columbia University. It was a lot of times like classes will be streamed onto the internet, so everything's filmed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was footage of this guy, and the cell phone keeps going off, and he's like, he's giving a lecture, and he's like, please turn off your cell phone. And the person does, and then like 2 seconds later it starts going off again, and just while talking he just walked over and rips it off her desk and just slams it on the ground and starts fucking stomping on it, and then just goes right about his lecture after that.
That sounds stagey, like YouTube sensation that's
I don't
later
know.
falsified.
Maybe, but I don't know, it seemed pretty fucking real to me.
I get real caught up on that stuff. I stumbleupon.com a lot of things at work now. I don't know if you're familiar with this website.
You were telling me a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing for somebody with a job like mine, where if you're, if it's a down day, then and you've run out of things to look at on the internet, I only have like 3 go-to websites. So then I go to StumbleUpon, and it starts to learn your interests, which for me turns out to be mostly pornographic cartoons. I stumbled upon a YouTube video. I think it was from Sweden, and it was this teacher. It was in a foreign language, so like there was no context as far as I was concerned. But he was in the middle of teaching a class. It looked like high school kids, and it wasn't a cell phone, but some kid said something or chided him, and he went into a rage and like threw the kid against the wall, and like a riot basically broke out. But I'm pretty sure I confirmed it was fake, because I was. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I think it was some kind of viral marketing of some kind.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams probably behind it somehow.
A lot of camera flares and a little robot drawn on the blackboard. Yeah, there was another one I saw. It was like someone yawning really loudly during the class, and the professor just went fucking ape shit over it.
What if the rest of this episode dissolved into us showing each other YouTube videos?
God.
Last night when we were at the bar. I won't name names. Should I just not tell the story altogether?
No.
We've got some
it's
listeners
fine.
that come from this group. Last night was a weird night for me.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about it.
Well, there's not much to talk about. There was we went to Sports Center, after we saw Moneyball, which was a pretty good movie.
Here in Yakima.
Mm-hmm. And so we went to Sports Center, and I dated the girl storytelling for a long time in Yakima for a few years. And she had a whole gaggle of high school friends that she then stayed friends with. And, they all happened to congregate at Sports Center last night. And so I was avoiding eye contact with all of them as best I could. But once I went outside to smoke, there's this kid, Kyle, who I knew, but I didn't know that's how I knew him. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me that I knew him through storytelling, and the 4 other people he was sitting with at the table also are storytelling's friends. They were all really courteous and nice to me, to be fair. But I told you, like, instant insecurity set in. I'm like, they're all texting her right now about how fat I've gotten.
They're all whales, though.
That's true. So that was kind of awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I heard you talking to one of them, and then it was just like talking about.
That girl?
She brought her up, yeah.
Yeah, she brought her up, but then also, like, apparently I used to hit on that girl over the internet. She didn't say I was hitting on her, but she said her name, and she's like, yeah, we used to talk on AOL chat all the time. And I was like, holy shit, I used to have a big boner for that girl.
Really? That girl last night?
Well, she's let herself go.
But yeah, then one of the other ones, who's actually the wife of a friend of mine, I don't know, she's just really obsessed with the show Portlandia.
Which is funny, the little bit I've seen of it.
And I've never seen any of it. But
yeah, and if you're trying to sell somebody on a show that they haven't seen, don't pull out your smartphone and show a YouTube clip.
Even before that, she was really drunk. And even before that, she's just like, oh, there's this one sketch where they say this and this and this. And she's not doing it justice. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like...
But neither is her phone, that's what I'm saying.
I'm being nice to you. And then, it shows me a clip on her phone. And what I do, I listen to 2 minutes of it, and I hand back to her and said, oh, your battery's dying. Which wasn't even true.
She seems very sweet.
Yeah, she's a nice lady, I'm sure, and big fan of Portlandia, which I'm not shitting on. I'll give it a chance when I can.
Oh, it's worth watching, I think, based on the one episode I saw.
Yeah.
I like shitting on hipsters.
So I hadn't been drinking for about a week, and then when you came to town on Friday, that's when I...
Let's scale this back a little bit. It was about a week ago, I guess, that you told me I was making plans because I missed Sophie's birthday last weekend. So that's why I'm here now. Still didn't get her a present.
Oh, yeah.
I offered to at Target, and nobody would tell me what to buy her.
Well, we thought you were going to take her to a movie later. And
so did I.
Never ended up happening.
Anyway, about a week ago, I was planning on coming, and then you had told me that you quit smoking cigarettes, you quit drinking, and you started the Insanity workout. Now
okay, so me and my friend Bryce were going to start the Insanity workout together, and he's like, but you can't smoke cigarettes. And he has a vice that he...
Meaning you can't have one dangling from your mouth as you're doing chicken squats or whatever.
He just wanted me to be a non-smoker now. And he has a vice that he was going to give up too at the same time. And so, whatever, that was fine. And then, so Sunday, we were having our last hurrah where I'm just smoking 4 packs of cigarettes, and we're drinking and watching TV and playing video games and stuff. And then we're just so drunk. And he's like, dude, maybe we should quit drinking too. And I was like, all right, yeah, we'll quit drinking too.
Sure, that seems like a good idea when you're drunk.
Yeah, it sounds fine to me. And it lasted. But on about Thursday of Insanity, I realized I can't do this. I've never worked out a day in my life. And it seems like such a big step to go straight into that. I mean...
It sounds appealing in the sense that you said, what is it, 20 minutes a day?
45 minutes
45 minutes.
But, I mean, it's a grueling 45 minutes. And for those first 3 days, I can't walk at all afterwards. And I know that's normal. And
buckets of sweat, yeah.
Everything. I mean, yeah, I'm down on my knees because you're supposed to be doing, these power squat push-up things. And I'm taking a break, and there's almost a steady stream of sweat forming a pool. I mean, it's just so hardcore. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to work my way up to this. I'm going to start jogging, and I'll quit. I'll keep up with the no smoking and stuff. But then Friday night you came to town, and
this is the thing.
Drunk.
The night before, I was telling you what time my bus came in, and then you were like, just so you know, I'm not drinking. Meanwhile, you already told me the week before, and I was like, that's cool. Are you worried that I'm going to be an enabler? I didn't make any proclamations to quit drinking, but I also wasn't going to shove a fireball shot down your throat.
Turns out.
And then I show up. It's about midnight. You're off shift, but still at your work. And, you had a shot in front of you. And I was like, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little relieved, quite honestly,
selfishly. You know, I work in a bar, and it was Friday night after work, and you're at a bar, and you can drink sometimes for free. It's
I'll cut that.
I'm gonna quit fucking like. I have these me days during the week. Well, over the summer I did when I wasn't in school, where like I'd send Sophie to the babysitter all day, and I'd go golfing or whatever, go see a movie. And by the time Alvina would come home with Sophie at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd be fucking hammered. I'd be like just drunk off my ass, and then like I'd go back to work on Wednesday, stay after and drink, and I would do that every night. So I can slow way down on my drinking.
Yeah, I mean, gradual's good, I think.
But then, yeah. So you come to town Friday, we start drinking. It turned into kind of a crazy night. I was giving a guy a lot of shit at the bar. Who,
Yeah, you were.
He kind of gets on my nerves, and I was joking around with him, and he's one of these big fucking aggro guys who decides, oh, you're making fun of me, so I'm going to put you in a fucking chokehold and make you almost pass out here at the bar. Like, I hate shit like that. It just annoys me so bad.
As an outsider, I could say it's pretty amusing.
And then I see him again last night, and I'm like, oh, I need a beer to fucking coat my sore throat. And then he just warns me, it'll get even worse if you start giving me shit again. I hate those guys. Like, they can give you all the shit they want, but as soon as they get a little bit back at them, it's like, here's my muscles.
Well, let's stick with the insanity. You'll be able to fight right back.
Yeah, that's true. Or not be able to move at all.
Yeah, I think I mentioned on the show, it was probably about 4 or 5 months ago, my friend/roommate Kelly convinced me to work out with her one day, and we went to my friend's gym, and yeah, buckets of sweat also. Like, it was humiliating. Plus, I didn't have proper attire, so I'm just wearing torn-up pajama pants and Converse.
Well, see, like, doing the stationary bike or jogging.
That's what I was doing, the stationary bike mostly.
Like, I don't know. I can do that and sweat a lot and feel good about it. It's just like when you're doing something where it's just these crazy, ridiculous exercises where you're like trying to balance all your body weight on one toe while being bent over backwards. It's just like the people on the video are like dying. They're being worked out so hard, and they're already in really good shape. So I feel like before I can do anything like that, I need to work up to it a little. Just a little.
Hey, I'm with you, pal. You inspired me. I was like, really? He accomplished all that? But like I said, instant relief when I saw that shot in front of you when I showed up at the bar.
Tomorrow's reset. Obviously, I'm not going to quit drinking 100%, but I do need to stop smoking cigarettes and get on some sort of
And I will
workout
say
routine.
you've done really well as far as that goes in the time that I'm here.
Yeah.
Almost perfectly.
Yeah, and the only reason it wasn't perfect is because you're here.
I know. Well, see, that makes me feel like shit. I'm sorry that actually I got called out by a friend back home because I told her about your quitting smoking and stuff. And is it true that you get annoyed by the frequency of my smoking?
Yeah.
Okay. But how does that affect you?
Wait, how did you hear that?
Kelly told me that you had said something once.
When
like
did
I
I-
got up to smoke like one too many times, and you seemed really irritated by it.
One too many times. No.
How does that affect you?
First of all, I don't remember saying anything to Kelly ever.
But you did confirm, yes, you do get annoyed. So it had to have come from somewhere.
That's like when we're recording a podcast.
Oh, well, that's wholly different.
That's like when we're
Speaking
getting
of
ready
which,
for.
how long we been going?
Yeah, well, see, that's what I mean. Like, so like we'll be doing or we're together to do a podcast. Like when Mason was at the hotel with us.
Well, I get
And
a little nervous and jittery when
Yeah.
there's first-time guests and
Yeah.
stuff. Or even,
And so like we're drinking, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna smoke before we start, and then I'm like, okay, and then you come back in. I'm doing all this setup. We set up, and I'm like, let's sound check, and we do the sound check, and so we're sitting there. Mics are hot. Everything's plugged in. Let's go. And you're like, I need to have one more cigarette. And then you go outside to smoke a cigarette. And we get about 20 minutes in, and sometimes we've been like mid-sentence or someone's mid-story, and you're like, I got to get up and smoke a cigarette. That's what annoys me. But Kelly, as long as she's throwing someone under the bus, she's the one who talks about like, oh, we go outside and we're going somewhere and we get in the car and he's standing outside smoking a cigarette.
2 more puffs.
And then 2 more puffs. Yeah, that's like your catchphrase. We're gonna make you a T-shirt that says 2 more puffs. And then like we get to where we're going, and then you smoke before we go inside, and then like we leave the place and you smoke before we get back in the car.
Yeah, I recognize it. Like even today, this morning, like I have to have my digestive cigarette like when I eat half of a huge Western omelet. But I figure that's less annoying because I'm doing it so you guys don't have to wait in the car once we get out of the restaurant.
Yeah, but also some of it's not.
Although you pointed out that I did it right as the check was coming, that was just coincidence.
But it's not even all like it's not even just like, oh God, he needs another cigarette. It's like, oh, Nick's gone again. It's just like, we're all sitting, hanging out, and then do you crave a cigarette ever, like? Sometimes, like when it's that thing where 2 more puffs, then we get in the car and drive to Target, then you smoke again before we go into Target. Are you like needing a cigarette really badly at that point?
At that point, no. I mean, there are times in my workday, let's say, where I feel like I need a cigarette.
Yeah.
And I work a traditional 8-hour shift now, 9 to 5, and I only smoke 2 times in that 8 hours, which is good for me.
That is, yeah.
I smoke once at once at noon and once at 3. And those cigarettes I need and are delicious.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like I'm just like I'll smoke sometimes if my bus is not only on time but ahead of time towards work. I'll get off like at knowing that I can walk the next 20 minutes and smoke 2 cigarettes just because after a year my job still stresses me out.
Yeah.
So sometimes I crave it. Sometimes it's just a time passer.
It just seems that like especially living in Seattle where cigarettes are so expensive. Like, I really try to spread mine out. I work in the fucking restaurant industry, dude, too, where these cooks...
Can I bum one?
Oh, my God. It is so frequent. You wouldn't even believe it. To where, like, I mean, I'm supporting...
And if it's a stranger,
like,
it's easy to say...
habits.
Sorry.
Yeah.
If it's a stranger, it's easy to say no. But if it's somebody you work with, then you're just going to be saying no.
But there's got to be a little quid pro quo, though. There's got to be, like... I got to know that at least once in a while, I would be able to bum one off you. But, like, that bartender who I work with that choked me out, he's a non-smoker. He bums, like, 4 cigarettes a night off you, and he'll go, hey, man, here's $1. And it's one of those things where, like, I don't want $1. Like, when I'm at home and I want a cigarette before I go to bed, looking at that $1 bill isn't going to help me. I want that fucking cigarette.
Right.
I would pay, like, $5 for a cigarette right now. So, like, living in Seattle, where they're, like, more than $9 a pack?
Generally, yeah, depending on where you go.
Yeah, it just seems to me like smoking cigarettes when you don't absolutely really crave one just seems, like, super wasteful to me.
Yeah, I know it is. My friend Sam, he's telling me where he works, there's a guy that he works with and is friends with who's quit smoking. He's quit smoking for, like, 6 to 8 months now. And... like at least 2 times a day, I guess, ask Sam to bum a cigarette.
Yeah.
And
well, that's like this guy who I work with, and you go, why don't you just buy a pack?
And Sam would tell him that.
And keep it here at work. He's like, oh, I don't buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
I
don't understand that stance.
It's like, I'll bum one if you have an extra one.
I guess it's kind of a pride thing. Like, if I bought a pack of cigarettes, then I'm caving in. But if I just bum one, then there's not tobacco in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that at all.
I meant to say nicotine. But yeah, so Sam eventually got to the point where he was so annoyed that he's like, because you tell him, there's a mini mart across the street. Just go buy a pack, and again, like you said, leave it here at work. No, I don't want to do that. I don't smoke. I just need one.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Oh, if I do that, I'll smoke all the time. You do smoke all the time, buddy. Just out of my pack.
So Sam now charges him $5 a cigarette, and he pays it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good operation.
I know. Sam's like, beer's on me tonight. You bummed a cigarette. Yeah, crazy. I don't bum cigarettes. Even I'm not good with money. I think it's fair to say that. And so there have been times recently, as a 31-year-old, where it's like I'm flat ass broke and still have 3 or 4 days before my check. And that's when things get a little sketchy for me. And I think, why did I smoke 20 cigarettes in an 8-hour period the night before?
Yeah,
and I know it, like, I'm broke. I got to make these cigarettes last. But there's something that counteracts that thought in my head. And
if
I'm
they're
like,
in your pocket, you got to smoke.
yeah, what is wrong? I'm addicted to, I become easily addicted to horrible things.
Yeah.
Some people have terrible vices. I have all of those vices combined.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, aside from, like, fucking coke or angel dust. But like pot, cigarettes, and beer, if it's in front of me, I can't stop doing it.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I'm going down a dark path.
Especially with pot, it was the same way. Like, for so long, I was not enjoying it. I was having the freakouts. I just could not smoke pot without absolutely flipping out. But I was still constantly buying it and smoking it every time I had an opportunity.
That's about where I'm at now. I don't freak out. I just don't. It doesn't really affect me if I do it so often. Like I'm in a constant haze, so I can't tell what it's doing to me.
I'd be getting ready to go to work, and this is back when I'm still walking to work, and like I'd just smoke a bowl, and I'd just start.
Oh, I still love the pre-work. Not since I moved to 9 because I sleep till the last possible.
I would
second.
just start like freaking out, and then I'd be like, all right, man. But I do still have 10 minutes where I can smoke one more bowl. And I just don't enjoy it, and like I'm flipping out. And then I would walk all the way down to the Olive Garden, and I'd be pacing around, and like, I can't believe I have to go into work right. I can't fucking do this. I cannot deal. And I'm like, because I work in a job where as a bartender, taking over from the lunch shift for the night shift, like sometimes you walk in and they're like, okay, here's 30 people. This guy's got his food coming out. These people already have their food. Blah, blah, blah. And like you're just fucking in the shit for the next 9 hours and having to look at people to their face. And oh my God, it was so hard. It was so hard to quit smoking pot, even though I hated it. Like I just hated smoking it.
Yeah, and this must have been a while ago because you're not much of a smoker at all anymore when it comes to that.
No, yeah, like Friday when we came down here and smoked a bowl, I took like half of one hit and I just immediately started freaking out.
Well, that could have had something to do with the 8 fireball shots we took that night too.
Yeah.
I don't take shots. That's pretty smooth going, that one.
Well, the fireball shot?
Yeah, if you like the taste of a cinnamon bear.
It's so weirdly addictive.
I have a question, and I won't sell anybody out because I don't know their names. We went to Sports Center 2 nights in a row, and we just had the one shot last night, but the night before too. And so you bought me a shot, you bought yourself a shot, and then the bartender on shift bought them a shot. The first night, the guy you bought it for took it right there behind the counter with us. I noticed last night the girl bartender took it to the back and took a shot. First of all, isn't it illegal either way?
She went and hid it like in the coat room, kind of where they hang up their coats. It's because the owner was there last night.
Okay, but either way, isn't it illegal?
Is it illegal?
I'm asking you as a bartender, is it illegal to drink on shift?
I don't believe it's illegal.
How can it not be?
I don't think it's illegal. Certainly probably against every single company's policy, like everywhere, but I don't think it's illegal.
Do you get offered shots and stuff at work?
Constantly.
Do you take them?
I say if you want to buy me one, I'll take it after work. So a lot of times, like, people will, like, you know, they'll buy a shot and then, like, I'll ring it in, I'll charge them for it, and then I'll take it.
Yeah, but that takes away from the fun. Like, hey, I like you.
Well, yeah,
let's do it
a lot
together.
of people, like, will sit there and want to do a shot with you. No, you can't do that.
Okay.
Not at my job. I mean, I've seen it done. I won't lie. I've seen it done. Not really since I've worked there. There's a lot of times where, like, someone will make a drink and you're like, oh, what's that drink you just made? And I don't know, someone just told me what's in it. And so, like, we'll all try it. You know, you put a little straw in there and you take a little drop out. And the owners don't care about that at all. But you can't, like, sit there and be taking tequila shots with your customers. But I've had people that are, you know, they're like, oh, I want to buy you a shot. What do you drink? And I go, whiskey. You can buy me a shot, but I won't be able to take it till after work. And it happens quite a bit, actually. I mean, there's been some times where, like, after work, like, you know, like, Travis will bum a cigarette and be like, okay, so I'm buying you a beer after that you can drink after work. And so, like, I'll get out of work and I got, like, 2 beers and 2 shots coming my way just because it was a weird night and people were buying shit for you. Those are the good nights.
Yeah, man. Is it too late to get into the industry?
To get into the industry?
For me.
No. It's never too late to get into the restaurant field, buddy.
Some of my favorite bartenders are 45 years old.
Fuck yeah, man. Oh, my God. There's so many lifers in that industry.
And I feel like it's too late for me.
Well, it just sucks that you'd have to start at the bottom and work your way up.
Which is what, busser?
Yeah, well, what did you do at Outback dishwashing?
Yeah, until I got a rash.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Maybe I'm not built for this.
But see, but then you're just in the wrong side of the restaurant. Like,
yeah.
Then you're going to work yourself up to cook. No one wants to be a fucking cook.
Man, when you got me that job at Outback, I was really appreciative because I just moved into town. But I couldn't stand dishwashing. I was hoping for a busser position.
Yeah.
That seemed much more respectable almost. Just easier.
Be thankful that it didn't happen because then you would probably still be in the industry.
Maybe I'd like it. I like the idea of a huge tip wad when you come home. Like, it's cool to see.
I've been doing it for 11 years now.
I know. Customer service it is.
Yeah, this is even worse customer service because you have to like be fucking smiling to their face the whole time.
Yeah, and you can't be on stumbleupon.com at work all day.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. That's one thing.
I don't think you're conditioned for that though. Like, think about if we switch positions. Could you sit at a desk for 8 hours a day?
No.
Yeah, you don't strike me. You don't have the disposition.
That's what worries me about like what I don't understand why I'm going to school to get a real job. Like I've never worked a 40-hour work week in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do with myself, especially if I did have to sit down. And if I do work like 40 hours, like the occasional random like picked up a couple extra shifts, you're running around the whole time. You're like always on your feet, up running around, so like time goes by a little quicker. If I was sitting there in an office, like fucking looking at the clock, oh my god, that would be terrible.
It's not so bad if you got the internet.
That's what you say.
Can we take a cigarette break?
Yeah, if you want.
There's not a guest here. I didn't think it'd be as annoying.
Fight.
Matt Medish. I forgot to mention him. Shout out to that guy.
Oh yeah, thanks,
Cares about
guys.
us. I have a clunky segue. How easily are you startled? Come on, that was good. Are you easily startled? I will say you didn't stir at all when I did that.
Yeah, I'm jumpy.
Yeah. I ask because I'm extremely jumpy. First, I want to talk about Sam, my friend, who, let's give a little teaser to the next time you're in town and we record with him. The guy's never eaten fast food and has agreed to come on the show and eat a series of delicacies from different fast food places. That should be a good one.
That's going to be awesome, just because we're going to have so much good food there.
I said, all you have to do is take a bite and comment on it. And he's like, all I'm going to say is, it tastes like grease. So look forward to that. I don't know when it's coming out or being recorded. But going back to the startled thing, Sam is like the jumpiest motherfucker I know, and it really makes me laugh. Like, I can't speak to this personally, but I know that he, like, I've had friends, like, when we stayed at cabins and stuff for somebody's birthday, and there are shared beds, people don't want to sleep next to Sam because he'll scream obscenities in his sleep. Like, that guy, he seems like the sweetest guy in the world, but apparently he's got some underlying issues. Like, he'd wake up karate chopping and calling Kelly a motherfucker in this case. Which, apt assessment or no. No, like, the guy, anyway, so he recently changed glasses or got a new pair of glasses and comments on the fact that they don't stick to his face. And the first example I saw this, which was hilarious, is we'd gone somewhere to eat pizza. Oh, this was after the bike ride that I sweated my way through. We went to this pizza place, and Sam is walking out with the leftovers in this huge box, and he's walking up to the car to get in the passenger seat, and the box hits the door before he does, and he goes, oh, and then like his glasses almost fall off his face when he catches them, and we laughed for 20 minutes because he's such a spaz. And then cut to like that next weekend, we're at a friend's house for some food, like they had a brunch thing, and Sam offered to saute.
So Seattle.
Yeah. And Sam was sauteing mushrooms, so Seattle. And I was just sitting there drinking beer in the kitchen talking to him, and there was literally, it was an empty plastic Safeway bag, and I balled it up while he was sauteing mushrooms. His back was to me, and I threw it at him, at his back.
As anybody would do.
Yes. And he freaks the fuck out. So he's like, oh, and his glasses go flying across the kitchen. Hilarious. I know it's those one of those you had to be there things, but not really. That's funny.
I do hate it, like when I'm at work or even just walking down the street and someone comes up behind me and they're like, hey, excuse me, like they need something from me, like at work, like
Right behind.
yeah, they go, hey buddy, like because they're about to ask me for a beer, and I jump like so high and I flip out and I turn around and I go, yeah, I'm not a tough guy.
Yeah, I'm that way too. Not all the time, but my roommate Kelly, when she was dating that guy Nate, R.I.P. They would think it was hilarious because I was working until 8 still at that time, and then I'd go to the bar, so sometimes I wouldn't come home till 11 or 11:30, and I'd see that Kelly's car was there, but I can see through the window as I'm walking up to the door that the living room lights are turned off, and so I'd go in assuming they were asleep, and they'd be like hovering right in front of the door because they could hear me walking up. And apparently, this is verbatim, the 4 times that happened. My go-to when that happens being startled is, oh my God, like that. And like sometimes I'd be prepared for it, or so I thought, but then they'd be in the kitchen instead of the living room.
Yeah.
But this is all leading to something that really embarrassing that happened to me probably a month or so ago now, where she was still dating Nate, so I was kind of on guard all the time. But it was really late, so I assumed she was just spending the night at his house. It's like 12:30 or something, and I'm watching TV, but we live in a cave-like dwelling anyway, and I don't turn lights on. I like living in the dark. And I was watching something on TV, but I go to my room to change into my pajamas, but Kelly's not there, so fuck it. Like, I take my jeans off. I'm still wearing boxers, but I'm also watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, so I want to not miss anything. So, and the door is open, too, because I'd just been out to smoke. And so I come back out in the process of putting my pajama pants on, and I see two shadowy figures standing in front, like in the doorway. And I can see that it's not Kelly or Nate. It's like these two skinny-ass fucking college kids carrying beer, but that doesn't all process at the same time. So I do my pat, oh my God! And they are startled, obviously, and it turns out they just had the wrong house.
I was going to say, yeah, like you don't walk by your door to go to somebody else's apartment.
No, not at all. And they're like, well, we saw a TV on. We're supposed to be at this party. I was like, oh, no, upstairs. Meanwhile, my pants are still around my ankles. And then, like, the next time I go out to smoke, which is a half hour later, I can hear them upstairs talking to my neighbors and laughing hysterically and mocking me the whole time. It was so humiliating because I don't talk to my neighbors anyway because they're all extremely hot. But the fact that that's the guy I am to them now. And then, you know, of course, they're going to check the mail. I'm outside smoking. How's it going? And then they're just imagining me in my boxers yelling like a fucking spaz. So that that was my whole reason for bringing that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that is terrifying. I still wake up in the middle. You ever wake up paralyzed with fear that, like, you think you heard somebody in your house?
No, I don't have those fears so much. I have petty fears like, oh my God, I slept through my alarm or something, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll have dreams that I slept through my alarm and I'm late for work and I'm getting in trouble for it. And then I wake up and it's fucking 4 in the morning.
Yeah. That's another peril of the restaurant industry is I'll be having a dream that, like, I'm in Seattle and I'm like, oh my God, I have a table that's waiting on a fucking side of ranch for their salad, and I forgot. So then, like, I'm getting back in the car, and I'm driving back from Seattle. And I'm like, they're going to have been there for, like, 4 hours by the time I get there.
I don't know what that says about us. I've had dreams recently where it's like, I'm late for my shift at Suncoast. I'm going to get fired. I haven't worked there in 11 years.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
I still have paper route dreams.
Do you really?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Well, that was a whole other embezzlement thing. I mean, you had reason to be concerned.
That guy, Brian.
Superfan?
Our fan, yeah. He delivers newspaper for the News Tribune.
I know.
I told him to ask about me. I'm sure no one there
Do you feel like you're a legend over there in the offices?
Well,
a wanted poster still hanging up with your face on it?
My ex-best friend, Chris, his mom worked at the News Tribune, like, while all that was happening, and she knew all about me.
Yeah.
And I was famous. I owed that place, like, $8,000.
I'm not telling my own tales out of school because it's me, but when I got fired from that grocery store for stealing that money here in Yakima, like even yesterday going to Best Buy, which is right next door, because I'm banned from there. But I also know, having talked to people that still work there, that nobody that would care is even there anymore. But technically I'm still banned, so I imagine myself sometimes going in there and like fucking alarms going off and cops swarming. Like they've been crouching down for the last 8 years waiting for me to return.
I must say that was always a very fun thing for me. Right after all that happened to you, I went to that grocery store like more than I ever have in my entire life, just to like have people like giving me the fucking evil eye. Like, is that him? Is he really back already? Well, I think I'm shooting up the place. You like that little picture I have hanging up there? James Bond picture?
Is it Connery? Sure.
I've redone my basement a little.
I know. I really only saw it in daylight this morning. I've slept down here the last 2 nights, but only because I'd passed out upstairs and then eventually found my way down. But yeah, I like it. It seems like a living space almost now.
Basically, all I had to do was clean up all the beer-soaked playing cards that were stuck to the ground. And then I threw this little carpet down, and then I bought a coffee table, and instead of using it as a coffee table, I put the TV on there. And the mini fridge is plugged in, with probably empty, I think, at this point. But certainly using up a lot of power.
That's the important thing.
But yeah, I set it all up right before fall quarter started. I was like, every day I'm going to spend 2 hours down here. I'm going to do my homework. You know, I'm not going to procrastinate on my homework. I'm going to like get into creative writing, and this is just going to be like my little dwelling down here. I never come down here.
No?
Ever. No way.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I'm just lazy. It's the same thing. Like,
It is a lot of stairs.
the first week of school, like, I had probably 10 hours worth of homework that was going to be due on Friday between 3 classes, and I waited until Thursday night, Friday morning to do it. I skipped a class Friday morning so I could finish all the homework that was due during my next class on Friday. So I did all my homework during the time I should have been in my first class. So I racked up an absence there. And then, like, barely got it done in time and, like, half-assed my way through it. I then came home and had to, like, finish everything else before I went to work so I could email it to the teacher on time. I'm so bad. Such a procrastinator.
You're living the life, though. It sounds exciting, if not horrifyingly exciting.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible to be like, you know, I could spend like half an hour a day on it and then like have everything done and like really well thought out and good. But instead, like, I have to spend 9 hours in one day doing it all at once and rushing through it because I'm just like on the clock. I'm like, I have to get it done by this time now. And it's rough. It's stupid. It's stupid to put it off like that.
I don't go to school, which your wife quizzed me about the other day. I feel like if I'm going to do it, Elvina should take me through this. Like, she should just do everything for me.
Well, the reason she asks you so much about it is because, like, I'll go to Seattle and you and I will sit in a bar and, like, I'll just be talking it up to you and you're like, yeah, dude, I'm going to fucking do it. You got to have Alvina do all the stuff for me, blah, blah, blah. And so I come home and I tell Alvina, and it just never happens. And that's why she's like, when are you going to do it, man? I'm ready.
Yeah, nothing like being shamed by your wife in front of your 4-year-old daughter. Your daughter's going to school. I'm not. I was going to talk about work briefly, though, as far as procrastination goes. Like, I've been, I have some leverage there now, which is strange because, you know, I've been such a freak show the last year that I've worked there. But now I'm literally the only person in my department. I'm not the only one that knows how to do it, but the only one that's willing to do my job anymore. And so, I mean, that's when I got bumped up to full-time, and it's been kind of great. But there are things that I haven't learned yet, and they'll be like, well, pop by my office, I'll show you how this layout works. And then I'll put it off day after day, even when that email is coming from my boss. Like, let's schedule some time. I'm like, yeah, and my last employee evaluation, that was the one thing they said. Like, you need to ask more questions if you don't know what's going on. And then there are some things that there's a literal deadline for. And so the same thing with me. 20 minutes before something's due, I'll be like, hey, can you run me through this real quick? I don't know why I do it. Everybody I work with is really nice. For as much as I hate it there, everybody's super sweet.
Yeah.
And totally willing to help me out. But for some reason, I feel inferior if I do so. I'm going to figure this out for myself, except for now I'm hung up on this pornographic cartoon.
When I started my job at this...
That's a lie, by the way. I'd have been fired if that were the case. I don't know why that's my go-to.
At this new restaurant, when I started there, like, I really wanted to get, like, on the fast track to, like, being really good at my job and getting up to bartender status and stuff. And, man, I'd fucking come in, like, an hour early, stay an hour after work every day just to, like, practice on the, like, computer system, ringing in every possible scenario of substitutions in a meal. And I'd come in on my days off and volunteer my time to bartend. I'd come work a 10-hour bartending shift, no hourly wage, no tips, just to, you know, prove that I want to do it. I don't do any of that shit anymore. Well, I mean, now I kind of know everything there is to know. But I surprisingly don't like bartending there. It's like a cool bar, and it's a real bar, and I really like the act of bartending there. There's not a lot of money to be made bartending there.
No?
I'd rather wait, just because there's always 3 bartenders on.
Oh.
So, like, you know, you'll make a good amount of money. You know, the bar will pull in like $700, but then you got to split it up, and then you tip out your fucking bussers and stuff, so you're walking away with like $170 for a 10, 11-hour shift.
Were you better off at the OG? Tip-wise? Because that seems strange. It feels like because 2nd Street is more of a bar, even if you have to split it, the tips have got to be way better.
Yeah, they pull in way more tips. I was doing better in my heyday at the Olive Garden, but not like. But I think I talked about on the show how that I quit there because I was making like over $10 an hour working the bar, and then they dropped me back down to minimum wage because of corporate policy. And then instead of just getting tips the way I usually did, they switched it to where I would get 0.75% of the of the sales. So I started making like no money whatsoever there. But back before all that shit happened, yeah, because there used to be when I started bartending at Olive Garden, there were 3 of us. And then, shit happened, and it went down to pretty much 2 of us. And then when I took over the weekend shift, I made it just 1 of us. It's just me. I wouldn't have any backup bartenders at all. Like, I'd just make it work. So I'd make, like, almost $300 on a Friday or Saturday night. And the one thing I missed about working at Olive Garden was you fucking closed at 11. You closed at 11 o'clock. Right. You were done. And then now I can go to 2nd Street and go have a beer. Well, 2nd Street's still open, and now I work there. So, like, you're there till fucking 2 in the morning.
Depending on the night.
Depending on the night. So, like, I'm going to go to work today at 4 o'clock. And I could be off at 7, or I could be off at fucking 2 in the morning. Like, I have no clue. At least at Olive Garden, you knew no matter what, I will be gone by 10 or 11 o'clock because that's what time we close.
See, with me, I have not moved to salary yet, and I feel like most people at my job are salary. And I could probably pull for it. Like, I've been working full-time since the end of June, and yet I haven't, because of my procrastination, my fear of talking to my super sweet manager. Like, I could set aside 5 minutes and ask her about, getting an Orca card so I don't have to pay for the bus for work every day, which I know everybody else around me has. And, fucking working out insurance so I can get my teeth fucking looked at. And instead, I don't talk to anybody, and I haven't moved to salary, so my schedule is 9 to 5. I show up at 9, and I leave at 5. And, part of me is like, that's because, they're pretty strict about not getting overtime there, so I don't want to overstay my welcome. But there are some times where I could hang around for another half hour and just do that pro bono because it'll help me out tomorrow. But instead, right at 5, there's something about it. Like, at 4:56, I'm closing down all my browsers,
Fuck yeah.
And I'm the only one that does that. And I know part of it is because other people on salary, so sometimes they'll hang out until, like, I know this from when I worked until 8. Like, they'd get there at 7 in the morning and work until 7 at night, working salary. But then there'd be other days where they fucking bail at 3. So, I mean, once I move there, fine. But in the meantime, I'm going to clock out at 5 and be at the bar at 5:10. That kind of makes me feel like a wastoid. Before, like, I kind of felt like a champ. I'd be off at 8, so if I'm meeting up with friends, there are already 3 shits by the time I get there.
So is that why we don't Skype record? Because you're always just at Shorty's?
We don't have to discuss this.
Until God knows when.
No. I don't do it every night. In fact, this is really fucking up Sam's beer buddy schedule with me because, he goes to the studio. He's got, like, a lot of ambition and stuff that he does after work. And so it worked out perfectly for him when I wouldn't get off until 8 because that's when he's showing up at the bar. So now he's like, hey, man, you want to get a beer tonight? And I was like, well, I'm not going to catch the bus home and then go back out 2 hours later. Once I'm home, I'm fucking home because it's a weekday and my work stresses me out. So haven't been seeing Sam as much.
Tell him to quit his dream of being an artist and just come out to the bars at 5
Give
o'clock.
Give it up.
I want that painting he made of me. It's
man.
Awesome.
If we get his permission, I'm going to use that as the picture for this week's show because it's fucking creepy how amazing it is.
On what, the Noise Beam website?
Hey, whoa, too soon. I don't think we're allowed to talk about that.
How are we not allowed to talk about it? Who's going to tell us anything else?
You're right. Let's talk about
We're
it.
going to get fucking dropped?
Noise Beam is no more. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
And the sponsorship that we are supposed to have participated in, and the contract's not up until October, but
we haven't even put up fucking episodes the whole time. Like, who cares?
What are they going to do to us?
It's not like we're going to put the American Brewing commercial.
Are they going to stop paying us?
Are we going to put their commercial at the beginning of this episode?
Sure, let's do it for shits and giggles.
Really?
Nah.
I haven't.
Good beer, though. I went to the brewery. Those guys were really nice. Neil and Julie, or Julia, thank you.
Yeah.
She looks more like a Julie to me. I got a tour of the brewery. I will talk about how good the beer is, because they did give us some free stuff.
Well, I mean, we've never talked about how we were sponsored by them because we haven't put up a show. So, I mean, I guess we were sort of sponsored by a brewing company.
Yeah, we were absolutely sponsored by a brewing company. Consummate businessmen, you and I. Oh, boy. But as far as I know, Noisebeam still exists through the end of October. I don't know. And I'm happy. We got some listeners out of that, and I appreciate that. And the cross-promotion has been fun. And apparently that's going to live on because I've become friends with a couple of those guys.
The point is, do not look for us at planbrotherhood.noisebeam.com anymore.
Well, right now I think they still could. Check
Okay.
it out while you can.
Well, a month from now, don't bother anymore. Just look for us on iTunes.
Unless we want to throw in.
No?
Nope. I missed the meeting in which that was discussed, but it sounds like it was a pretty mutual. Nope.
Yeah.
We'll continue to cross-promote. Let's end it there. But I do appreciate the time we had with
So
them. Seriously.
we're being pretty vague. Is that on purpose? Basically, Noisebeam was part of Fisher Communications.
You're going the exact opposite of egg right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, unless
You're right.
we
It doesn't
shouldn't.
matter.
I mean,
It doesn't matter.
No one knows what we're talking about. They're part of Fisher Communications, whose lawyers got around to listening to all the shows on Noisebeam.
Claimed that they were big fans of the shows, I think, when they signed off on the whole thing.
Yeah.
But somebody eventually decided to check them out. And I like to think, I like to wonder which episode of ours they dabbled with.
Yeah.
Although I guess in the most recent correspondence I've had with somebody, 90% of their problem with the shows was the copyrighted material that was being used.
Yeah.
In our case, Daniel Johnston.
Yeah.
And 10% of it, if I can go ahead and say it, is slander against local political figures. And I was like, oh, well, we're in the clear.
Yeah, that wasn't us.
That was not us. I have an idea who it was, but it was not us.
So just Noisebeam isn't a part of Fisher Communications anymore. They said that we could get together and buy the brand Noisebeam, and
What's the point?
Planned Brotherhood will not be involved in that. We
No.
can make that announcement. Planned
Sure.
Brotherhood will not be part owner of Noisebeam. We are going to say goodbye and thank you for the good times and the friendships made.
No, and that you seem kind of like a shithead. Your tone just then.
No.
I have made
I
legitimate friends.
love everybody we met there.
Well, you've never been to a single meeting, a single get together.
I've met
You met Mason. You met Roden. Well, Roden we knew before.
Yeah, I knew Roden before that. So I met one guy as a result of Noisebeam. And
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Good episode that was. Episode 148. All right, Mason.
All right, Mason.
I had a show note, but it's a month and a half old now. In looking at my phone, imagine that. I was on The Grapes of Rad as a guest co-host. Did you listen to that episode?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Kind of a clunker.
No, I liked it.
I'm not putting that on Mason either. I was shit faced when I got there, which he knew. I don't know. I felt like there really, and this again, nothing against him. There wasn't really any substance there on my part. Like
He
I
talks
just
about
kept,
me a lot.
Did we?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
came up.
So that's what you're waiting for?
Yeah, they're the best parts.
Because I think your one critique online was that we didn't mention you enough.
Yeah, those were the best parts. And it would have been a great hour if that's all you talked about.
But I'm still happy to have any of the Noise Beam brothers on our show at any time, like sibling rivalry, unless dragging Noise Beam through the mud right now is going to change that. But they've been trying to get us on for a long time. I'd be happy to do so. And Aaron Mason's really funny. That guy's a joy. We got anything else?
I don't think so.
Oh, I think so. Let's end on this. Free the West Memphis 3?
Yeah.
Turns out that worked. And, it's been
Done.
talked to death, but so we don't have to actually I'm happy that they're free. But I want to talk about the Twitter thing.
Okay.
Except I might have to pull it up, in which case I don't know how that's going to work. So, we've been supporters of freeing the West Memphis 3 for quite some time, right?
And by supporters, you mean
We liked the movies.
and we thought they were
Mainly I
probably
like
innocent.
Metallica, so...
Yeah.
No, but of course I was thrilled, even though they got a shit deal from the sounds of it. Baldwin wasn't having it until he did. But everybody knows about this. It's really old now. Like I said, it's an old note. This is what happens when we go so long. But on the day that it was announced that they were being freed, I posted what I thought was a pretty subversive and funny tweet about it. Go ahead and read that because it's in front of you.
Damien Eccles will probably drink free for life now, that lucky bastard.
And see, those last 3 words is what makes it a joke. That lucky bastard who's been imprisoned wrongfully for so many years. And then cut to like 10 minutes later. First of all, let's give the guy a shout out. I think he's a follower or was.
At I Like Scott.
Mm-hmm. What did he say?
Would you serve half your life on death row and miss the most important moments of your 2 kids' lives for free booze?
This guy doesn't get Twitter and should discontinue his account. I couldn't believe
I
that.
didn't know Damien Eccles had 2 kids.
Yeah.
From before he went to jail, obviously?
Well, one of them was showcased in the first movie.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, remember his tore-up-ass girlfriend?
I can't believe that. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. What trash, man. He probably honestly is better off now. Like, where would he be had that never happened to him? Like, not hanging out with Johnny Depp, that's for sure.
Not sitting on 3 book deals,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. See, but we're coming. This is what Twitter's about. I didn't make any Casey Anthony jokes only because I didn't know anything about it. But like that, I don't get offended except for Gilbert Gottfried.
I
That
made a
guy,
pretty
come
good
on.
Casey Anthony joke about how she could write a how-to book.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
How to get away with murdering your kid and not having any responsibilities for the rest of your life. And then, so he wrote back to him, alcoholism has made me impotent, so irrelevant.
Which is fine. I never heard another word, but I don't know why this has been stuck in my craw for a month and a half. Like, the guy he doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it.
And if he's a listener, you don't get it, guy.
He's got almost 3,000 followers.
What?
Yeah.
How many does he follow? 6,000? Because that doesn't mean anything.
760.
All right. Well, geez. Does he still follow us?
He wins at Twitter. I don't know. How do I find that?
I don't know. If you're listening and you do, don't, okay?
Idiot.
Hey, we're back. Are we done? We're back. We did. We did it.
Yeah, we did it. Congratulations, buddy.
We did
Feels
it again.
good. Let's skype it up soon.
Yeah.
I'll see you on the Skype
Oh, hey,
chat.
before we end, I think it's kind of fun if we end on a song sometimes, aside from our theme music.
Uh-huh.
Did you already stop recording? Is that why you made that face?
No.
Oh, okay.
I thought you wanted us to sing a song for a second.
Oh, no, unless you're feeling inspired. But
No,
can you
that's
throw
why I
out a
made that
song?
face. Like suggest a song?
No, this isn't going to work.
I'm just a little bit caught
But we got to get the Moneyball version with that hilarious part at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
And fade.
I'm just a little bit caught in the middle. Life is a maze and love is a riddle. I don't know where to go, can't do it alone. I've tried and I don't know why. Slow it down, make it stop, or else my heart is going to pop. 'Cause it's too much, yeah, it's a lot to be something I'm not. I'm full out of love, 'cause I just can't get enough. Yeah, I'm just a little bit caught in the middle. Life is a maze and love is a riddle. I don't know where to go, can't do it alone. I've tried and I don't know why. I'm just a little girl lost in the moment. I'm so scared, but I don't show it. I can't figure it out, it's bringing me down. I know I've got to let it go and just enjoy the show. The sun is hot in the sky, just like a giant spotlight. The people follow the signs and synchronize in time. It's a joke, nobody knows they got a ticket to the show. Yeah, I'm just a little bit caught in the middle. Life is a maze and love is a riddle. I don't know where to go, can't do it alone. I've tried and I don't know why. I'm just a little girl lost in the moment. I'm so scared, but I don't show it. I can't figure it out, it's bringing me down. I know I've got to let it go and just enjoy the show. Oh, just enjoy the show. Oh, I'm just a little bit is a maze, and love is a riddle. I don't know where to go, can't do it alone. I've tried, and I don't know why. I'm just a little girl lost in the moment. I'm so scared, but I don't show it. I can't figure it out. It's bringing me down. I know I've got to let it go and just enjoy the show. Dum-de-dum, da-dum-de-dum. Just enjoy the show. Da-dum-de-dum, da-dum-de-dum. Just enjoy the show. I want my money back. I want my money back. I want my money back. Just enjoy the show. I want my money back. I want my money back. I want my money back. Just enjoy the show.